There you go.
Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call our Human Relations Commission meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, July 19th, 2024. And we request staff confirmation that the Kansas Open Meeting Act required notice that is properly provided.
Yes, it has.
Thank you. And then next on the agenda is our roll call.
Chair Kuchel.
Here.
Vice Chair Mai.
Here.
Commissioner Tague Hurd. Commissioner Rodriguez Ortiz.
Here.
Commissioner Modrow.
Here.
Commissioner Newell.
Here.
Commissioner Zaveski.
Here.
Commissioner Kressler.
Here. Thank you. Okay, under our approval of minutes, so we will need approval of our minutes from the May 14th regular meeting. Those were sent out and also attached to your information. Hopefully you've had a chance to look over those.
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor, raise your hand, please. Motion passed. Thank you. Okay, on to new business, public hearing items.
There are none scheduled for today, and no one's here for those.
Okay, thank you. Administrative items are docket review.
Yes, thank you. You should have had that as part of the packet. So just for the record and to go through, I'll go through kind of cryptically again. But we have employment cases. There is one, there is a potential that one could come through right now. It is something, the person has an attorney, we're kind of working with that attorney. It may not actually be filed, they may get it resolved. We're giving it an opportunity with that attorney to get it resolved. When I say it may not go through, it's one that we will probably help the person file through the KHRC, the Kansas Human Rights Commission, instead of us for various reasons. But we're giving it a little bit of time for that attorney to see if they can resolve it before something's filed on it. With the attorney's involvement especially, they would want it to go through the courts, and to do that you have to have I call it a ticket, but you have to have a pass. You have to exhaust all administrative remedies, which means it has to go through the EEOC, which the KHRC can dual file like we can with HUD. We don't have that agreement, so it makes more sense if they're going to proceed that way, that we've agreed we will help that individual file with the KHRC and do it that way so they can do it and have the most resolution and the most outcomes, the best outcomes for them. So we've been in communications. That's the only pending case we have in employment right now.
Okay.
And the one that we don't have a date in there, but it's the last one where we've held the interview and we're still assisting, but I don't think it will ever come before this body. Then on the housing cases, we have done a great job. I just want to say, well, next month we should have the report for the end of the year, because we close out our session, because it goes till June 30th. And so we just are finishing up our reports for HUD, which we'll give to them this month. And so by the next time we should have a closeout report, and you'll see new numbering and all of this, and we'll start with a fresh slate. But for HUD purposes on some of that numbering, we are going to transition from some of the new programs we have to a new numbering system. So instead of having 23/24, it will be the year it's actually filed. So if it's filed in 2023, it'll be H1 2023, H1, and we'll keep that numbering system. And it has to do more with some of the transition we're doing with a new company, the new website, and that same company, GovBill, is developing. So all of our programs and all of the departments will have one entity instead of like we have My Case, they have LLAMA and all this stuff. We're kind of in this process, and that numbering is a little difficult for them, so it'll be some automated numbering. So we'll still have all the housing cases and all of that. We'll probably still start at the year, because HUD is still going to look at them during that time frame. So we'll still probably run this with HUD's time frame. I just want to warn you, we're going to change that numbering system a little bit. It's also hard because when you add a slash, you can't save things with that backslash. And it gets kind of confusing. If you do a dash, then it looks like it's 23 through 24. And so it just creates some confusion on the numbering. It's just going to be so much easier. It's going to go to the actual year of filing, but we still will follow and reset every year our docket stuff following what HUD does, because we close them out. They judge us for our next year, when I say judge it, but they give us our grant award or our award based upon the number of cases we close from July 1 through July 30th every year. So I just kind of wanted to, this was a good opportunity to let you know. This numbering system is going to look a little different. We'll reset next month. We'll have the full details, but it looks like we're going to have, we closed more cases this year, and we should bump up a little bit on our award from them, so we're pretty excited. They kind of have levels. If you do a certain number, you get a certain amount, you get credit for a certain amount on your different categories you get paid for. And so we were excited. We bumped up the next level. So we were excited for that, but it'll all come out a little bit more in next year. And that month is the month we kind of do our year-end report, and we're going to keep that, but the numbering's just going to change. That was a long-winded answer, but hopefully it'll make sense next month.
So follow-up question, are we moving away from my case then? Is that?
Yes, we will, and we are not scheduled to be the first entity off because of they need to be off LAMA by a deadline, so we aren't going to be the first one, but we'll send you out. They're trying to replicate all the stuff we do in my case, so it should look very similar. We're expecting it to look similar, but we'll let you know. The target date for them to be off is September, but we may go to October or November for our department. But some of the other agreements that they have and other vendors, they have to be off by September 1, and we have a little bit of flexibility, so we aren't first off. So I imagine that around September we'll start telling you how we're going to do it. But they're supposed to be mimicking everything we're doing in my case and customizing it more. And it should integrate then more, so we'll know more what code compliance is doing, and if it affects any of our cases, we should be able to see what they're doing easier. That's kind of, and link those records, especially in the housing cases. That will be useful.
Okay.
Just a little bit of a heads up on that. With that being said, two open cases. I'm trying to remember if there's been any added. I don't think there's been any added since then. We have the two we've closed out. I don't know if any of you have any questions, since some of you got some of your first cases and have those. We appreciate everyone getting back to us. We were able to close out. We feel everyone's been responsive, but I didn't know if anyone had any questions about the cases they heard, or, we've been pleased with the responses. Everyone's been very thorough and attentive, and we haven't had to harass anyone too much to get them in on time. But I don't know if any of you had questions. With that, we're closed and we're down to two. We still have the one case. We have no idea. The one that we waived back in, I don't know, the waive date 2/8/24. That's not right, Marissa, is it? That's not the one I'm thinking of that's been waived.
The H4 2223 was waived to the DOJ. It was waived in 2022.
Okay, that's the one that's still just pending. We have no control over, and I don't know if they're ever going to do anything on it. They still won't, they haven't released us to do anything on it. So that being said, we have two that are coming. I don't know that you'll get them before the next meeting. We're in the process. They're progressing, but I'm not sure we'll have them, maybe one of those before the next meeting, but the other one probably not.
Okay.
So I don't know if anyone has any questions. Is it going okay with that structure? Everyone's comfortable? Just when it gets comfortable, we'll change my case, but it shouldn't be too complicated. They're trying to mimic it, so it'll just probably be a new setting up, a new password for you, each of you to access that. That said, the public accommodation ones, we've closed out another one or two since we last met. I just have one kind of in progress. Most of the people, like I said, have been very cooperative and trying to get everything fixed as soon as possible. And then on an eternal note, as people are doing new projects, they're talking to us more in advance or asking more. So I think we've made a lot of progress, even though it may not seem like it, on that. I don't know if anyone has any questions.
I had one on the disability one that was open 6/29 of 2023. Are we still in communication with them? I know it's listed as ongoing. Just over a year is a little concerning for.
That one was one where it was a nonprofit, and they are working to get funding to do. It was pretty big. I haven't closed it out. I know they've made some progress in doing it. And the person that filed the grievance, we've been in communication with her. She's fine with it. She understands our nonprofit, and it's kind of a big expense on what was being asked to do.
Gotcha.
So it won't ever proceed to filing. I don't see that. They're making improvements and have been real receptive, and we've helped them try and apply for some grants to help do it. I don't see it, and maybe we should change it to, it's not going to go forward, and we've worked with it, and we've been in communication with the person who made the complaint, and so she's aware of the progress that's being made and happy with it. But it's not everything is exactly perfect in it, but it's made a lot of they've made a lot of progress.
Good.
So, yeah, we probably should change that to closed out, because it will not go forward before the commission. We are just trying to keep track of some of these ongoing calls and stuff we get and trying to resolve it. Right now, I only have this last one down here that's still, that person has not been as cooperative, so we're trying to work through that one a little more. I'm still hopeful that we won't have to file anything to get them to do it, but they're not being as cooperative as most of the others have been.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is the staff report from our 2024 Fair Housing Seminar Survey results. And that's at the back of our packet.
Yes, and hopefully we try to summarize for everyone kind of what all those surveys come in and do that, and I think the staff has done a nice job of writing this report and summarizing. We had a lot of good responses. The sessions that rated the highest, we've talked about, we found some older flyers, some just things they used to do. We were discussing just today, like what are some more topics? What can we do to make it different? And I think people did like the 2 breakout sessions, and maybe we go more afternoon breakout if we can manage to have enough speakers to cover the 2 tracks. The landlord-tenant track versus or the landlord track versus the tenant kind of mindset tenant track. So we'll see if anyone has any suggestions or anyone has any questions, just to kind of read into the record a little bit. The Fair Housing Seminar was on April 26, 2024 at Tony's Pizza Event Center. Right now, we're still tentatively planning to have it there. It'll still be the last Friday in April in 2025. We like that date and kind of being that consistency. We are going to go view another venue that someone has offered to us to see and go look at that. I think tomorrow, the 3 of us are going to go take a look at that venue and see. The city has an agreement with Tony's Event Center, with the agreement, so it makes it nice. It's big. They have food right there, so there's a lot to it. I'm not sure we'll switch yet, but we are at least going to go look at this other center that someone has raised and see if that's a good fit for next year. But we're still keeping the last Friday in April as being the date for it. Out of the attendees, we had 55, which I think has been pretty consistent. I'd say we range 40 to in the lower years up to 60 maybe in the highest, so we're right on target for that. Of course, I would always like it to be more, but right now it's staying on target. 58% responded, which is pretty good rate of response. the professional individuals, the stuff that we captured on there, the profession, how they learned about the event, if they met their expectations, how likely they'd attend in the future, how respondent ranked each speaker, how satisfied they were with the process. Those are the types of things we're looking at. Most of the people, as we kind of have found in the past, tend to be the nonprofits that are working with individuals and professionals that come. And I think that helps a lot that we have the accreditation for, because we accredit for social workers, attorneys, and real estate agents are the three professions that we accredit, see continuing education offered through that and certify those. So it's been pretty consistent since at least we've been here and keeping track of these on the responses, on how it breaks out. The respondents, we again are very positive overall. Within 95%, it met or exceeded expectations, and the 87% likely to attend again. And I would say we have some pretty consistent regulars that have attended since at least we've been coming. Again, they liked the sessions. I think they liked the breakout sessions. I don't know if anyone has any questions about it, or we are open to any suggestions between now and April of speakers, ideas. We look to this body for any input that you have. I think one of the best suggestions was maybe letting people know more when the breaks are, so that those that want to just come and make an appearance know when people are actually going to be at the vendor booths. That's one thing we're going to try and implement, letting people know next year a little bit more, so that they aren't just sitting there all day kind of bored at the booth. There's more of a time frame of when they're there. And I think for all the vendors, that if people aren't participating in the seminar themselves, if they want to leave and come back, like making sure we really know. And we're pretty good about sticking to that schedule. So I think that they can feel safe, and if they don't want to sit there all for the full day when we don't have people there, we'll see. But it may change a little bit depending on this other venue we're going to go to or tomorrow. So I don't know if anyone has any questions or comments, input. Suggestions. We would love anything more. I still, my optimistic goal, I've wanted to have more attendees. We just haven't been able to reach that hump. It'd be nice.
Yeah, it's just, with it being during the day for people that are working.
For tenants, yeah, for tenants.
Yeah, for tenants, because that's, I would love to see, a higher percentage of them attending, but and transportation may be an issue, but we've got pretty good community transportation, so, but,
that's my only thing. We tend to do better at that when someone asks us to do a presentation just kind of as a one-off to a group, is probably when we reach more of that population than at this actual seminar.
Right. Okay. Looks good. Thanks for all your work with that,
well, thank you.
Staff.
Thank Lily and Marissa especially.
Yes.
So,
okay. How about our next item is the HRC appointment to Law Enforcement Review Board.
And we were just following up. It was approved. It had to go before the City Commission. We had to do a blue sheet on it, and it was approved. So thank you.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll get a report back and it goes well. And we appreciate Commissioner Zavisky, if I said that right, it was like close, taking that on. So we appreciate you for doing that.
I'm looking forward to it. So.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Okay, moving down our agenda, it looks like we have no preliminary discussion items, so moving on to unfinished or other business. None is listed there, and as far as public forum, do we have someone
Comments?
on?
We do. I don't know if she has any comments that she would like to have. We don't have any, for the record, we don't have anyone in the audience, so it's only an online participant if she has any comments. Hearing none, I will say no, public forum.
Okay. Thank you. All right, looks like adjournment would be next. So our next regular meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, August 13th, 2024 at 5:30. So I need a motion for adjournment.
A motion to, we adjourn.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All those in favor, raise your hand. Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.